My name's Min, and today we're going to be focusing on immunity and stimulating the lymph nodes. It's cold outside and there are many viruses around, which we all know about. This routine is to promote healthy drainage and stimulate circulation and detoxification. The lymph nodes are located in the neck, the armpits, the abdomen and the inner groin. So today we'll be focusing primarily on stretching and stimulating those areas. We will be doing a lot of circular movements, motions to make sure that we're twisting and getting into those deep areas. And we'll also finish with some yin postures that promote healthy circulation of the kidneys and detoxification. So that said, I want you to sit up straight in easy pose, so crossing your legs, just whatever way feels best. Putting your hands on your knees and just straighten the spine. Taking a few deep breaths here and an exhale. And just setting your intention for this class. Slowly, we're just going to move our right ear towards our right shoulder. And then back up again. And we're going to move with our left ear towards our left shoulder as we start to promote and release tension in the neck. And back up. And just bringing your head down forward. And then up to the sky. And maybe we'll repeat that one more time. Neck down. And your head up to the sky. Now we're just going to try and de-stress the neck a bit more by doing some circular motions. From the right to the left. And then the left to the right. And again, right to the left. And left to the right. Now we're going to start working on our armpits. So to do this, we'll bring our hands to our shoulders and slowly start circulating backwards. Just feeling any crunching that you notice and just working through that tension like a massage to yourself, and go back round the other way. And bringing your hands down to your knees again, we're now going to come into our first pose, which is tabletop pose. So to do this, we'll put our palms underneath our shoulders, wrists underneath our shoulders, palms out in a spider-like web, so looking a bit like that on the mat. So you're sort of gripping in, and knees hip width apart, feet pointing back towards the wall. And we'll just take an inhale here, lowering our belly down, lifting our chest, raising our tailbone. And an exhale, arching the back, bringing the head down, tucking the tailbone in. And again, we'll lift the chest, lift the head, lift the tailbone. And we'll come back to center it. So to get straight on this, so straight back, you might look down towards your navel, and we'll just stay here for a few breaths. Inhale, exhale. Our next pose we're going to do is a high lunge. So to do this, what I'm going to do is bringing my right foot out to the front of the mat, in between the palms. And we're just going to stay here, making sure our knee is a 90-degree angle. And our left leg should be pointed towards the back of the room. Now you should feel a really nice stretch in your hips and your thighs. Now to take this pose a little bit further today, what we're going to do is to lift our chest, bring our left elbow to the right thigh, and bring our hands together in a prayer position. So like that, on your thigh. And we're going to slowly twist around. And if it's available to you, come up on your left hand toe and just into a high lunge, and just take a few breaths here. Slowly lowering your palms down towards the floor, bending your left knee, bringing your right knee back to your mat, knee the left. And just tuck your toes under and come up into downward facing dog, raising the seated area up to the sky and just pedaling out through your calves. And slowly, we're going to do that on the other hand side. So what we'll do is we'll bring our left leg forward, so it's between our palms, and our right foot should be facing back towards the wall. And again, making sure that you're at that 90-degree angle with your knees, so no overarching there. We're just going to stay here for a few breaths to find our balance, to find our centre. And slowly and mindfully, if it's available to you, bringing your right elbow down towards the left thigh and bringing your arms into prayer position. And we'll just stay here and twist our body. Now we're here, we're working more on the abdomen area, having already worked our neck and our armpits. And if it's available to you, tuck the right toe under and just come up into a high lunge. And for a few breaths here. Slowly coming back to centre, palms down on the mat. Step back into a downward facing dog here. Just pedal it out, feeling the effects and noticing any areas of tension and how you might have untwisted areas. Now from here, I want you to look towards the front of your mat and either take a few steps or jump in between the gates of your palms and take a forward fold, Uttanasana, feeling that nice stretch through your hamstrings. And please feel free to bend the knees if you want to. The whole point of this pose really is to release pressure on the lower spine, not stretch your hamstrings as far as they can go. And inhale, we're just going to come up to half forward fold, lifting our back straight out, parallel to the mat. And exhale down to the floor. And slowly and mindfully come up into mountain pose, vertebra by vertebra. And we're just going to find our centre here. Now, I'm going to just face you so that you can see me. But in mountain pose, we'll stand with our feet hip width apart, our heart above our pelvis. We're just pressing down through our feet into the ground. And the next pose we're going to do is a pose called chair pose. To do this, slowly tuck your tailbone in, tilt your pelvis in, and bend your knees. So you're feeling your heels come to the ground, and lift your arms, palms up to the sky. So from the side view, it should look something like this. So tucking your tailbone in, engaging your core, engaging your navel, and making sure your shoulders are away from the ears and your palms are faced one another. And a way to check that you're sort of as far back as you should be is just try lifting your toes up so that you really feel as though you're rooting into your heels. And slowly from here again, we're going to bring our left elbow down to the right thigh, and we're going to go into a prayer position. Twisted chair pose. Take a few breaths here. And slowly coming to center. We're going to come up into chair pose again, lifting the palms, tucking the tailbone in, so make sure you don't stick it out. There's no dance routine. Just flipping the tailbone in, engaging your navel, reaching up and tilting your toes back just to make sure you're balanced correctly. And now we're going to come over to the other side, so bringing your right elbow to your left leg. We're going to come into chair position, twisted chair pose in a prayer. Taking a few deep breaths here. And slowly release, coming down to the mat again. Straighten the legs. And slowly lifting the palms up above your head. And exhale. You're back into Tadasana. Tadasana, mountain pose. Inhale. Exhale to the palms down to the floor. And hop or step back so that your feet are hip width apart and you're in plank pose. Now, always try and engage your navel and bring your booty down. Don't be doing a downward dog. And if you need to, come onto your knees if you need to support your body. Slowly tilt forward on your chest, micro bending your elbows, come down to the floor and lift up through your chest, pressing your toes, your feet and your thighs to the ground and pressing down through the mat. Lifting your ears again away from your shoulders. And from here, we're going to come back into a child's pose. So just bringing your seated area back to the mat. Forehead hits the ground. I'm just going to rest here for 2 final breaths before coming into our next pose. Slowly coming up into a seated kneeling position. We're just going to come into a pose called butterfly pose. I'm going to face you just so you know what this pose is. So bringing your legs together, your soles of your feet together. Probably best to have them on the mat so that you're not hitting a hard floor. And just bringing your knees out to the side, just let them flop down. And if you need a prop to support yourself, perfectly fine. Please do that. And if you need to, please also sit on a rug so that you've got an extra or a slightly level position so that you can go deeper into this pose. And from here, we're just going to lean forward, pressing our elbows into our knees, and just stay here for 5 breaths. Slowly beginning to walk the hands up to a seated position, bringing your spine up straight, making sure that the blood goes back to your head before you do anything else. Just sit here. few mindful seconds. This next pose we're going to do, I'm just going to turn back to the correct way on my mat. It's called deer pose. Now this pose, what I like you to do is to bring your left knee out towards horizontally, so that your left hip and your left knee are almost in line, and your left leg is facing the back of the mat. Your right leg, I'd like you to bring the shins so that they're horizontal to the mat, and that it's facing a sort of right angle to your hip. And from here, we're just going to sit up here in deer pose for a few seconds, or if you'd like, come down onto your forearms. I'm just going to scoot forward slightly because there's not much space behind me here. Back onto your forearms and just stay here, or if it's available, come right down onto your mat, onto your back. And you should feel a really nice stretch through the quadriceps as you begin to melt into this pose. Slowly from here, come back onto your forearms and lift the chest off the mat, and slowly come up onto your palms. Again, making sure you're centered and the blood comes back to your head. From here, just do a windshield wiper mode with your knees side to side. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So to do this, we're going to bend our right leg, and again I'd like the hip and the knee to almost be in line behind you, and the right leg should be facing towards the wall. The left shin, bring round so that it's horizontal to the top of your mat, and try to flex your left foot here. And just stay upright, taking this pose in. Or if you'd like to go a bit deeper, come down onto your forearms, and if it's okay, come down onto your back. Again, just feel deep stretch in the quadriceps on the other side. And slowly coming up onto your forearms again. Onto your palms. And just, again, move your hips from side to side. So in that pose we're working the groin area, which is the final area of our lymph nodes. We're going to finish a few twists and our final groin stretch. So we're going to come back to our mat, bring our hands towards our knees just to wrap around them, and slowly come back so that you're laying down on your mat, lying down. And we're right. And here, just going to bring our knees in towards our chest. And circle, give ourselves a back massage. And from here, bringing our knees towards our armpits, and then grabbing on, raising our feet up to the sky and grabbing onto those with your hands either side, whatever you prefer. And if you can rock side to side in this and just give your lower back a massage. Don't go too harshly, otherwise you'll roll over to the side. And just bringing your knees in to your armpits again and flexing your feet as you do this pose. Slowly releasing your feet and your hands to your knees, coming down to the mat. Bring your feet, the soles of your feet down to the mat. And just get comfortable here and center yourself. And bringing your right leg over your left, just crossing it over like this. And bringing your left or your knees towards the left. You might want to just scoot your hips over towards the right here so that you keep in line. And bringing your hands out to the side into a cactus pose. This pose is called Twisted Roots Pose. It's our final twist of the practice. Just take a few breaths here. And slowly uncrossing your legs and bring them up towards the centre. We're just going to do that onto the other side. Bring your left foot over your right knee. Coming down. Again, scooting your hips over towards the left just to align yourself. And bring your knees down towards the right. And look over your left shoulder. And slowly from here, bring your knees up to the centre, unwrap your legs. We're going to come back now into our most important final resting pose. So bringing your feet out to the mat, bottom down to the side, open your palms, and just sink into the mat. And thank yourself for taking this time today. Dedicate to yourself and your body that needs protection at this time of year, especially in these times. Try not to think too much and just bring your thoughts back to the present moment, right here, the right now. To worry about things you cannot control. Just look after yourself and know that the time you spend doing this will nurture and help your body to reduce anxiety. Shoulders, your armpits, your abdomen and your groin area. Just breathe in, noticing the breath going down to circulate across all those areas. Taking the deepest breath you have all day into your abdomen. Smile to your face, raising the corners of your mouth, and just fixate on a happy thought. And slowly begin to wiggle your toes and your fingers, maybe your legs and your arms, and slowly and very mindfully come up into a seated pose. Twist over to your left or your right hand side. lying down still, and then push up to a seated pose. Crossing the legs, arms and knees. Slowly lifting the palms up to the sky, bringing them together. Bringing your palms or your thumbs to your forehead and bow. Say Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me on this practice. I really hope you got the benefits of it. If you like what you saw, please click subscribe on my YouTube channel and offer any comments, and I hope to see you here soon.